Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is finally that time. It is week 1 of the Overwatch Scrim game series. It is the one and only White Shadow here today for bringing you this very first game of the very first season of this wonderful tournament. We are on Overwatch 2, a new era for the game, and because of that, you guys already know that we're here to bring you the latest in the Overwatch esports action, of course, with this tournament, and that is going to be commencing with this match tonight, which is going to be Mirai Saints versus Absolute Zero, a complete entire clash of titans here on the Overwatch Scrim game series. The first 2 ranked seeds according to Nano Assassin, so it will for sure be an interesting match to highlight. Now, before we get started with this match, we of course have to know and we have to take note of all of the different metas and strategies that have come because of the new game. Overwatch 2 is certainly a very different game mechanics wise compared to Overwatch 1. Say what you want about the rest, but the metas have certainly been updated with all these new balance patches, the new heroes, and of course the new maps. Of course, we all know that Assault has been completely scrapped from the game, so we're finally going to be able to see some push action as well as some very new locales. But as I mentioned, the meta has also shifted in accordance with these new maps, and so things get very weird. A lot of heroes right now are very much viable in certain situations, and I'm very curious to see how these teams are going to play out these different scenarios and different maps. It's all here in this match, an absolute clash of titans, but of course we gotta start with the starting roster for Mirai Saints, the number 2 ranked seed in this entire tournament, and it looks like they're gonna be running Fallen, Cowboy, Ghost, Usagi, and Basil. Of course, I don't know that much about these teams. Completely fresh this entire console Overwatch scene, but from what I've seen, especially from Mirai Saints, they are a very promising group. Definitely a reason why they are the number 2 seed in this tournament. Now it seems like they're going to be pulling out the Zarya, heavy sustain character, massively brawly tank, replacing Reinhardt as the brawl tank in Overwatch 2, and we're going to be seeing the Kiriko-Lucio combo that was very much hyped up, especially with her recent release. And of course, we're going to have the Genji and the Reaper in the mix as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what Absolute Zero are pulling into the mix, and it looks like they're going to be pulling out the Zarya as well. Rui, Fill Me Up, Bamboozled, Vecta, and Galare. A little bit of a difference here though on the supports. They're going to be running the Mercy and Moira, and the Soldier and Sombra, so they're going more for the disruption in terms of what they want for their damage line, and it's going to be very interesting to see this very brawl style comp versus one that is still brawl but is not much happening in terms of the actual team. But of course, where exactly are these metas being played? Where exactly are these heroes about to play in? And that is where we're going to go into our map series to see exactly where we are headed for this first match. It's going to be quite interesting because of the new map system. Of course, we all know that we cannot start with anything other than control, and that is exactly where we're going to go. It's going to be Oasis now at nighttime. Personally, I gotta admit that Oasis night caught me by surprise by just how beautiful it looks. I still prefer Sunset Oasis, but Night Oasis is still very good. Now, speaking of Oasis, Oasis is one of those maps where this Zarya is going to be utilized very efficiently and effectively, depending on where we start first. I know it's very viable on University and on Gardens. As we load up here into the game, we're going to be seeing the very different and diverse areas of the map, but it seems like we are going to be heading over to University first, hence why the different Zarya plays being used. So you can see teams loading up in spawn. Who is ready for some Overwatch action, ladies and gentlemen? Let's get ready as the very first match here has begun. Mirai Saints, Absolute Zero. Let's get into this. And it looks like we're out here with Absolute Zero. Both teams heading over towards the high ground with the Mega Health Pack. As Vector already getting taken out of the fight. One support down. Definitely not good for their brawl style comp. As we see Cowboy with the Genji getting dangerously low, has to fall back. Seems like Mirai Saints for now have a slight edge in terms of point progress, but as I said, that still goes down. That's one less support from Mirai as the rest of Absolute Zero fall onto point. That's exactly what they're going to do. Mirai Saints without that support is going to have to fall back slightly. Ghost, high sustain again with the Kiriko in the back, staying alive but not long enough, buying some progress. And Usagi is going to have to escape. So Absolute Zero winning the first fight, giving up 12% progress, not too bad, but it seems like they're going to be rolling out the percentage. You see Mirai Saints swooping back up. Very interesting to note though that the soldier there with the Mercy Pocket, the Cowboy's in, he's got Vector. Gets hacked though, so this Genji not really much use with the hack in play. And Ruby's going to get punished for staying too long on the high ground. As Mirai is falling right back on the point, going to go reclaim progress. Let's fill me up, no more bubble there, he's going to go down. It's Absolute Zero forced to retreat. As the Zarya brawl again. Zarya is very, very tanky in this new Overwatch experience. See Rui getting discovered there by Fallen, has to translocate it away. As you see the Coalescence push by Glare as Absolute Zero look to go ahead on the point. A grab being used here is going to get massive results. And it seems like Absolute Zero will flip the point back. Some nice back and forth that I'm seeing here. Very, very good. Like to see some very good Overwatch. No team actually has hit beyond the 50% mark, though Mirai Saints is at 47%, but it seems like Absolute Zero will get there first. So you can see the ultimates lining up. We have a blade and the grab is up ahead. The Bamboozled has already taken out Falling. The Dragon Blade comes out from Cowboy, looking for targets to slash, but will not find them, and EMP is used on the members of Mirai, and it seems like that would be enough as Ghost takes a dive off the map to reset. Absolute Zero, amazing defense here, using the EMP and the Graviton Surge, while Mirai Saints only had to use the Dragon Blade. So in terms of ult economy, Mirai Saints is up ahead. They're about to come up with 4 ultimates. One, of course, being the Katsune, which I'm very interested to see, as now Mirai Saints move onto the point. The visor from Fill Me Up comes in. Graviton Surge being used by Ghost. It's chaos all over the point, but it seems like Absolute Zero is winning this fight so far, as the visor is cleaning up everybody on point. Cowboy trying to dash for progress, but it's not going to work out. 97 and counting. Seems like nobody's going to be able to touch, and that is the very first round going to Absolute Zero. A very nice mix of chaos there on that first round, very much back and forth. Really, I see it as just wrong placement there from Mirai Saints. Everybody was all over the place. Of course, they were split up on that last fight by the tactical visor, and again, all it takes is that much amount of zoning by the soldier to split everyone up and just everyone focusing targets individually. So very good teamwork there by Absolute Zero. As we now head over to our next point, looks like it's going to be Control City Center, mind you. My mistake. And now we're rolling out with Mirai Saints. Both teams basically sticking to the exact same comp, running it back on City Center. Of course, I'm interested to see where the teams are headed. Looks like Mirai Saints are going for the high ground with the jump pad, while Absolute Zero went around the other side of the Mega Health Pack where the cars are. So very different, as we see Fallen is actually undetected. I thought they'd see him there. And he's going for the backline. Vector in trouble, desperately trying to guard Angel Weight, but runs into a wall. Enough for Fallen to eliminate. And now Mirai Saints have the advantage. Of course, the Sombra's in the backline. Cowboy looking for that peel. Almost gets the kill, but forced to translocate. As now the brawl commences. Ghost being healed, obviously, as the tank in this comp. And that's enough. Mirai Saints have the sustain here, and they are going to take the point first on this second round. Of course, the Sombra from Absolute Zero is going to be very interesting to note, as, of course, the Sombra is an absolute nuisance from personal experience. As we see Absolute Zero going right side towards point. I'm trying to find some shots, but he's not going to find any. He's going to go down. Rui in the backline being a nuisance on the Sombra. Hacking Fallen, avoiding the Reaper from doing any more damage than he already can. Bamboozle's got the resources. He's got the damage boost and good enough charge. Zarya very, very much damage hefty up in this game. Everyone's low on the Mirai Saints. Ghost a little bit too late there on the charm. Was not able to save his life, and now Mirai Saints are falling.
Taking the objective. Get over here.
As the point's getting flipped right back. Maybe some stagger points here, as you saw you getting chased down. He's gonna have to escape. And the team is forced to reset. Rui here, a little bit dangerous, almost gets caught there. Very, very dangerous move there by Rui. But as we see, this next fight, Absolute Zero are approaching all 5 ults. Likewise from Mirai Saints, it's going to be a very, very scrappy fight. Here comes the grab and a Katsune. The EMP, though, shutting all of that down. As Rui, with the massive EMP, completely negates Mirai Saints' push, stops them dead in their tracks. An Absolute Zero hold. As you can see, the team kill. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful grab, though, by Bamboozled, setting Rui up for the massive EMP. Of course, that did drain them of 3 of their 5 ults that they were going up against. And Mirai Saints now has all the leverage. They're coming up on 4, and there they go. The grab by Ghost. It's got Fill Me Up, it's got Glare, it's got Vecta. Absolute Zero have to retreat now. Bamboozled will go down, and Rui just stealing what Sombra does, stalling for time. And Mirai Saints only had to use 1 ultimate there to flip the point, so now they're still looking at 3 ultimates. 65% now for Mirai Saints, as they're getting very close to that last fight territory. As Fallen there, forced to use the Fade. I think he's looking for the Death Box, and there it goes. Gets Bubble for the extra protection. Gets a lot of damage on Bamboozled, finally goes down. But Fill Me Up's got the Tactical Visor. He's looking for targets. He's looking to clean up the members of Mirai Saints, but Fallen is still in the backline somewhere, being a Reaper. It's a very scrappy fight right now, but Bamboozled and Ghost both tanked, like I said, being brawly, engaging the enemy team. A Blade comes out by Cowboy here. He's looking to get very big picks, getting 2, trying to get up there onto Rui, but forced to translocate. So it seems like there may be a touch here, though. Yeah, there is. B comes out, trying to sustain the team, as it's just trickle in after trickle in for each player of Absolute Zero. And the last one will be cleaned up. City Center goes to Mirai Saints. Even more chaos from both of these teams. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. It's all gone down to the micro plays, as we saw for both teams. Now heading on to Gardens. This is where things get interesting, as we're going to see some meta swaps. It looks like Mirai Saints are going to be running pretty much the exact same comp, only now with the Baptiste. Very preferable on Gardens, especially on the early high ground fight. Mortality Fuel is going to be very useful for that fight. But Absolute Zero now swapping for a Sojourn. Still with the Sombra, though. The Sombra, of course, like I mentioned, Sombra is a nuisance, always, especially in this current meta. It looks like both teams are going for the high ground. The trench warfare begins. Cowboy almost gets hacked, though, but the bubble saved him from having his abilities negated. But Rui is still there, just now getting noticed, forced to escape. Or rather, go back in, and gets eliminated for overextending. So now Absolute Zero being pushed a little back, but Mirai Saints is also very, very low. In fact, a very dangerous Guardian Angel there is eventually going to get taken down. So it seems that Mirai Saints has won the brawl there on the high ground. They'll take point as they force Absolute Zero to reset.
You want a bandage for that?
As we head back into the action here. Absolute Zero looking for a new direction to attack from. Seems like they're going to go through the mid part of the point. Falling gets hacked, but gets saved by the bubble. So he's not going to get taken down. Almost got punished. It's Bamboozled here, getting absolutely destroyed in that matchup. Did not have enough charge. As now Absolute Zero once again forced back into their spawn. But they will have some ultimates coming up. As we see Rui there with the railgun overclock. Both support ults also incoming. But Mirai Saints, look at this. Absolutely insane with their 4 ults in there. Bang. Now the Valkyrie has come out just to keep the sustain for Absolute Zero. They're not even on point yet. As the brawl yet again begins. Grab is being used here. Coalescence and a Dragon Blade from Cowboy. This Cowboy's going absolutely insane. Ghost dashing everywhere. And Rui did use that ult, and it's not going to be put to much use as Absolute Zero was just cut down by the Dragon Blade. 86% and counting for Mirai Saints. It is now last fight territory. They're going to have to send somebody over to touch the point just to trigger that overtime. As it looks like they're going to come from under the point. I don't think Mirai Saints realized this. And the EMP with the grab combo. Sound Barrier does come out a little bit late there just to keep the team sustained. But it might have been enough. As Absolute Zero are starting to fall. It's just Bamboozled on the point with Rui, who also falls. And that looks like it's going to be map 1. Going to Mirai Saints. Very, very good defensive positioning there on that point. As they will now go up 1 map in the series. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you guys, but it seems like a very interesting game up ahead of us. Very, very close. A lot of back and forth action from both teams. And remember, this is just a map 1. So plenty of more Overwatch left to play in this series. But we'll come back with map 2, so stay tuned for that. Welcome back to the Overwatch Scrim Game Series Week 1 Match of the Week, Mirai Saints versus Absolute Zero. Now, if you're joining us for the very first time, Map 1 has already concluded, and it saw Mirai Saints putting up a good brawl fight on Oasis, going up 1-0 in the series, and it seems like teams are going to get to continue to brawl here on map 2 coming up next, as it looks like based on our map set. So we're going to see here in a little bit, Kings Row, very popular map among everyone in the player base. It is obviously one of the OGs, and of course it means we're going to be seeing a whole lot more brawl. Now, we did exactly see a lot of Zarya being used on Oasis, on University and City Center naturally, because they're very high brawly, but Kings Row is known for being the brawl map. As we load into map 2, Absolute Zero attacking first. Despite being a brawl type map, seems like they have now gone over to the D.Va instead of the Zarya. Now D.Va can counter Zarya, but it will be tricky to pull off. As we see Rui with the Widowmaker going past spawn though, trying to get this very ambitious first pick. As Mirai Saints have to respect the Widow, the sightlines that she plays. As now Absolute Zero going in. Rui does get taken out in the backline while the engage was going in. So it seems like a soft reset might have to happen here on Absolute Zero. But the fight is very scrappy. As Rhea respawns, maybe this is exactly what Absolute Zero wanted. As now Mirai Saints are pushed back a little bit, but nothing came out of it, as Mirai Saints are able to hold.
Going somewhere?
Now the Widow is moving up the ground attack Widowmaker. Very ambitious here by Rui. As now they're forcing Mirai Saints away from the point. The Vector does get taken down in the backline. This Fill Me Up is looking very much alone here, having to force back. Mirai Saints continue to push Absolute Zero back to their spawn. And Cowboy wants that kill. I know he does. He's looking for the chase. Not sure if he's actually going to get it. It looks like he's going to decide to fall back. 2 minutes already gone by for Absolute Zero, as the D.Va's not going to swap for an Orisa. Graviton Surge does come out. Gets a fair bit of Absolute Zero members in it. No follow-up. Has a lot of sustain there with the Valkyrie. Overclocked by Fallen. Look at the quick some heads with Bamboozle. Responds to the Dragon Blade. Goes right in. There is an Immortality Field in his way, but he's still going to find 2 kills here. As this may open up what they need to take this point. As the Matrix actually was used there. But it would not be enough. As Absolute Zero are looking to take this point and start moving their payload. As Rui takes the high ground. He's able to get a headshot on the Fallen, as now the payload will be unlocked. And another snipe there by Rui. This Widowmaker is playing dangerous with the Infrasight, as now Cowboy is looking to contest here on the high ground. Bamboozle notices and is trying to go for the assist. Cowboy really low, needs to escape and will get body shot. As Fill Me Up is very much ahead of the rest of his team, ahead of the payload even. This is looking very ambitious, going to get taken out by the returning members of Mirai Saints. As the payload has now moved past the hotel area, but not much farther, as Ghost now back on point. He's going to force the members of Absolute Zero to stand back. As now Fallen is looking to go towards that same area. He notices the Venom Mine. He knows that there's a Widowmaker here. Not really expecting the pocket though. As now still is here with him, but Rui, the headshot connects. Scala with a Dragon Blade. Looking to dismantle the offense, but it's not going to happen. As this fight continues to be scrappy. Boozled here, trying to cut members down as the Terra Surge is used. Usagi goes down. And now Mirai Saints is on the run. Absolute Zero had to invest the Terra Surge there. But still coming up on 4 other ults. As the Widowmaker is actually being used quite well. The attack Widowmaker. Now a grab gets absolutely eaten by the spear. As now Mirai Saints is looking to retaliate with this overclock. But Absolute Zero wisely looking away. Vector almost gets caught there, but is able to get out. Not so lucky for Rui as Cowboys now going in. But so is Bamboozled with his Dragon Blade. Looking to even out the fight, but he is going to get shut down. This is just fill me up, force retreat. Only one member was eliminated in that fight for Mirai Saints, and it was Usagi. But in terms of ultimates, they only have that Matrix. Now Absolute Zero are looking to have 3. This Fallen falls dangerously low there. Has to fall back. Absolute Zero have all the leverage. The Cowboys in the back line almost eliminated the support there, but Bamboozled is actually the one who's going to end up go down. There goes Fill Me Up. Members of Absolute Zero are scattered everywhere, forcing to retreat. Rui getting chased down all the way. He's able to escape there with the legs of Sojourn. And a Dragon Blade here by Cowboy. Absolutely ambitious, trying to get some picks, but gets eliminated. So both teams trading out DPS. 35 seconds for Absolute Zero. And dwindling as they have 3 ults coming up. Mirai Saints only relying on 3 as well. So there you go, the Valkyrie is up from Vecta. Sustain is definitely going to be there. Fill Me Up, looking for that Terra Surge, maybe to displace the team. There it is. The Overclock comes out by Rui as well to finish off the targets, and the Lamp from Usagi instantly comes out. The cleanup is there. Overtime does get triggered, but it looks like Absolute Zero are going to be getting this checkpoint. 1 minute 30 for Absolute Zero now on this second checkpoint. Zero was looking for that shot onto Fallen, but he's not going to get it. This Ghost falls dangerously low there. Overclock being used by Fallen, trying to force the members of Absolute Zero back, trying to reclaim some middle ground. That still goes down. So not really the effect that he wanted. Scabe looking for this elimination onto Vecta on the Mercy. Not been able to hit his shots, and Bamboozled is actually going to go in. The Nano Blade is imminent, and there goes the response sound barrier. Definitely not going to allow Bamboozled to get any of those kills, but Ghost is dangerously low inside of this room. As the payload is moving. Vecta goes down though, so Absolute Zero only with the Ana heals as the Matrix comes out. Bamboozled is still on point. As this is probably one of the scrappiest fights I've ever witnessed, when Bamboozled is still in the back line, is getting 3 now, as it is now Ghost who is stalling. How the tables have turned in favor of Absolute Zero. But remember, they do have the spawn disadvantage as Bamboozled is still fighting on the point. Rui now from the sights. And the rest of Mirai Saints are now on point, but they're getting forced into an unlucky position as Rui has this overclock. He's now popping in. He's trying to get some eliminations. Usagi dangerously low gets eliminated as overtime trickles and continues to trickle. The Dragon Blade by Cowboy trying to end this here. Only has 1 and gets 2. Is looking for a 3rd. Terra Surge though, and Bamboozled is still here. Bamboozled is still on the payload as members of the Mirai Saints are still trickling onto the point. Ghost is happily spinning around the payload. An overclock by Fallen, trying to even up the odds, but he has no reset in his face. Very, very unlucky. As Mirai Saints are still on this point. Ghost spinning so much he was able to get a whole minefield as the point was almost let go of. And Bamboozled has enough for a Dragon Blade. He's looking to finally win this fight. We've been in overtime for a solid 30 seconds. Bamboozled's got 1. Bamboozled's got 2. He's got the nano. He's got 3. The res onto Fill Me Up. And after the scrappiest fight in overtime, Absolute Zero finally able to push the map, the payload into the final checkpoint in overtime though. So they do unfortunately have no time in their time bank, but still 3 points is better than 2. Now that was an absolutely insane overtime push, lasting almost over about a minute, as Bamboozled refused to die and allowed his team to come back. Of course, Mirai Saints also with the spawn advantage were able to come back twice, which is insane. Even with the stalled respawn times, they were still able to make their way back onto the point. But the support was there for Absolute Zero, as we see Mirai Saints now on, getting ready to attack. And there is a very weird character in this lobby, and it is a Junkrat. I have personally not seen Junkrat that much on King's Row. Saw it in the days of anti-dive, back when dive was meta. But ever since then I haven't really seen him that much. So I'm really interested and very much intrigued to see what this Junkrat is here to do. As just like any other team would on King's Row, the Widowmaker is out to see if they can get the sneaky pick as Cowboy is on the Widow. And Bamboozled gets dangerously low, almost gets his head taken. But that is going to be it for Cowboy as he swaps back to the Junkrat. And now Mirai Saints are pushing with this Junkrat, which I still am uncertain of. Nonetheless, a big anti gets hit onto Fill Me Up. He almost goes down. The Junkrat is causing havoc in the backline as those mines are flying loosely and freely. As 2 picks was enough to win them the point. As Absolute Zero were just not prepared for the absolute onslaught that was Junkrat mines. They've got a lot of time here as the payload unlocks, 5 minutes and 45 seconds. I must say, the Junkrat strat, I was not expecting to work. As Absolute Zero now looking to stop them in their tracks. I'm not really sure what the response to the Junkrat is. Both teams are brawling. Fill Me Up and the Orisa having to play a little defensively now. Now he has to deal with a Zarya and a Junkrat as the lamp is forced and gets destroyed almost immediately. Bamboozled does go down though. He got very low and stuck in no man's land. As Cowboy engages the backline, forcing the retreat. Another anti by Glare onto the members of Mirai Saints. A grab gets used. A Rimtar being used by Fallen. Not sure if he'll get that much. It does. It gets 2. As Mirai Saints are still pushing this payload. No resistance has been met so far. And Mirai Saints are looking to put up a very fast attack round here. Absolute Zero just completely flabbergasted by this Junkrat pick. As I'm not even sure if they're going to touch here. Might be wise to stay out of it. But Bamboozled is not about to let that happen as he dashes on the point. So it seems like Absolute Zero are going to contest this. The Junkrat is in, trying to get other picks. Bamboozled does fall. Terra Surge here by Fill Me Up, and an overclock with the Valkyrie. Lots of ults being used here by Absolute Zero. Meanwhile, the Sound Barrier being used to mitigate all of those ults. Absolutely amazing from the sustain of the Mirai supports. Bamboozled goes in with the Dragon Blade. He's tired of this and he wants this team fight to end. Cowboy does pull out his Dragon Blade and absolutely negates Bamboozled, and he's going to get 3 compared to Bamboozled's 2. And Mirai Saints, yet again, the negation is absolutely amazing. Gotta give it up there to Basil and Usagi. The absolute just sustain that Mirai displayed there to evade 2 DPS ults and a whole grab as they continue to push this payload. 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Now they are anti, 3 members are anti, no follow-up though, as Fill Me Up dangerously low. The Junkrat is not someone you want to be right up in your face, even for a tank that is very scary. As Mirai Saints have a grab and a Riptire coming up. Heading into the final stretch of this payload, this Cowboy is going into the backline. He's looking for some supports. Glare does go down. So now, Absolute Zero without the heals that they need. A Riptire with a grab combo. This might be dangerous. But the follow-up is there by Mirai Saints as a very fast time on King's Row. 4 minutes and 7 seconds on their time bank. That is absolutely amazing and a very, very fast time. And because that is the only fast time we've seen, I can confidently say that that is a record that will probably stay for a minute. But of course, Mirai Saints is showing some very, very good sustain. The Junkrat pick definitely threw Absolute Zero off, I have to say. But now as we see Absolute Zero, they have to defend point A for 4 minutes and 7 seconds. A feat that is going to take a lot of communication, a lot of coordination, and of course, a lot of shenanigans, because this is King's Row. So as we see a very weird strat coming out here with the Pharmacy. Now, not weird in the sense that it's not ran, just not often. Especially here on point A, where Pharah really excels on the very open point A. As we see Mirai Saints all the time in the pocket to get this point. All they need is a tick, and they have 4 minutes to get it. The Junkrat is still here for Mirai Saints. Many would say that Junkrat is a very RNG character with the nades. As Mirai Saints going in, Glare already out of the fight, not looking good for Absolute Zero. They are down 1 support. There is a very ambitious res mid-fight, and it does go off. So now, for now, they are back, and that's enough that Absolute Zero needed. But Fallen is still in the background. He's still trying to get these pigs. Will go down to Bamboozle on the Pharah. And Absolute Zero, all they needed was that res. As soon as Glare comes back from the dead, that gives them the enough sustain to avoid the incoming onslaught and turn the tables. As now Fallen will swap off of the Junkrat to a soldier to counter the Pharah in the sky. As the brawl begins yet again. The Lamb already again being used by Usagi. These forces of the Lamb are definitely not good. Using them too early. As Absolute Zero again, just completely out damaging Mirai Saints with the use of this Pharah. Another team kill. 2 minutes, 45 seconds for Mirai Saints. And it seems like the Pharah is working for Absolute Zero.
You're going to be fine.
I've seen the Mirai Saints pushing up. I'm not certain that they know that Bamboozled was up on the high ground there. As now the push is in. Now there is a Graviton Surge. The Lamp comes out, but it is not enough to stop the onslaught that is Rocket Barrage. And yet again, Absolute Zero have held. We are now at 2 minutes and 7 seconds for Mirai Saints. 2 of their minutes now erased. No longer repeatable. However, they do have ults. They're coming up on both support ults and both DPS ults, as well as a not too far Graviton Surge. So they definitely have the resources, and the Visor gets popped out immediately. And Boozle does go down. The Overclock tries to mitigate there by Rui, but does not succeed. Forces Glare to use the Coalescence to stay up, but it will not be enough, it seems like, as Mirai Saints are going to be getting the tick and will go up 2-0 in the series. Wow. Some very good teamwork here by Mirai Saints, as they are now one map closer to winning this series. I'm very much intrigued to see how this plays out and how this will end, because remember guys, remember that not everything is over until it is over, and it's looking like map 3 is coming up next. Welcome back to the absolute clash of titans, Mirai Saints and Absolute Zero. We are now on the very third map of the series, and things have been still very close. Do not let the score fool you. This game has been pretty close. These two teams are not ranked the top two for any kind of reason. They have earned their spots up. Now it's time to move on to Escort, and it looks like we're going to be going to Circuit Royale for this Escort map. Personally, one of my favorite maps, and is one of my favorite maps for a single reason, because it is one of those maps that has a very map specific type meta. And I know it's gonna get crazy up in here because Circuit Royale, it's very interesting to see a map that really changes the more you play on it. The very open first checkpoint to the still open but high ground based second checkpoint to the completely enclosed brawly third checkpoint. So it's going to be interesting to see how these teams approach this map. However, it seems that they have been sticking to the exact same comps, of course, which have been the brawl time comps. But one thing about Circuit Royale that you can ever underestimate is the power of Sigma. As we're here with Absolute Zero attacking first. You seem to be running a D.Va, trying to, for sure, capture the high ground in order to gain an advantage on this payload. There we go, map 3. Now they are going to be running the Somber again, so I want to know what the strategy here is. As you can see, Joel instantly diving up to the high ground. The battle for this ski bridge is going to be very, very important. Joel immediately deneked, however, and he's going to get chased down. Cowboy going straight to the back line, gets hacked, but it will only stop him momentarily. It's Absolute Zero forced back slightly as they wait for their tank to rejoin the fight. Mirai Saints, of course, running still with the Zarya. They were expecting a brawl, and now Absolute Zero have to play according to that, as Joel looked like he was going to go back into Mirai Saints high ground, but decides not to. And Bamboozle, though, is going all in, and he's going to get taken out. As Joel, not in a good position right now, has to retreat. That Zarya, of course, high charge. Beam cannot be in by Defense Matrix, as Glare and Filmia get eliminated. Absolute Zero are back to the drawing board. That's fun. Coming up on the ult side of things, Mirai Saints, both DPS ults seem to be hand in hand approaching the 100% mark. And we see Bamboozled swapping over to the Widow, trying to catch some members of Mirai Saints off guard. Grid's Ghost, he is very, very low, but is able to get some amounts of healing. Don't relax too much. As Joel is now on the Zarya, the brawl is in. Ghost crouches in an area where he's not supposed to crouch and gets taken down. The Silk gets taken down as well. That's now an overclock by Fallen, trying to equalize. Manages to find Bamboozled, but it will not be enough, as Absolute Zero have now begun the process of moving the payload. And all it took was that swap over to the Zarya. And of course, the incoming danger of the Widow headshot. As we go, Cowboy coming in with the Dragon Blade, but he gets slept immediately, waken up by the field there. But his blade does not have enough time. He will pick up a kill onto Glare, looking to find Bamboozle now on this Widowmaker. He is in the back line. Now Joy uses the Graviton Surge. A Katsune comes out in order to help them, but Ghost now with a grab of his own cannot follow up as he is dangerously low. And he is the only thing that's stopping Absolute Zero from going towards the first checkpoint, and it is now secured. Jolt, though, having a little field day on the Zarya. High charge Zarya is very dangerous in this point of the game. It's now Absolute Zero coming up on both the DPS ults, and Mirai Saints having both support ults. Overclock comes out by Silent Kills. Finds Ghost, trying to find another. Sound Barrier comes out, trying to keep the team alive, and it seems like it's working because Cowboy's got two. He's in the black line yet again. Throw Me Up falls. As Absolute Zero now are forced to go back to spawn. As Jolt falling low, but he refuses to die. Zarya sustain is too much. And all of a sudden, Absolute Zero have a little bit of threshold to come back. As now Bamboozle on the Tracer. Graviton Surge by Jolt comes out. 3 members caught. Fallen falls. Ghost loses in the brawl. Mirai Saints get pushed back. Jolt again with the absolute insane charge. Doesn't take 100% charge to do damage with Zarya. Her damage is already significant enough. And that's the second checkpoint there for Absolute Zero. 3 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. The Mirai Saints do have ults. They did not use any, aside from the sound barrier and the Graviton Surge. So now they have everything else. And Booster throws in a Hail Mary post-spawn because nothing out of it though. As now Cowboy with the Dragon Blade trying to get something, but gets nothing. Coalescence there by Glare, enabling the push. A Silent kills with a triple. And Fallen did use the overclock there before he fell. So Absolute Zero are able to continue pushing the payload, and they have negated 2 ults. As we see Cowboy now swapping over to the Reaper, heading into the final stretch, this enclosed space. Saw Bamboozle on the flank there. As the brawl begins again, Ghost getting dangerously low, forces out the Immortality Field, and Bamboozle is being a nuisance. Katsune and Matrix being used for both teams respectively. And now Jolt, very fast, speedy damage coming out. And overclocked by Silent Kills, getting lots of eliminations. The Graviton Surge was used to ensure that nobody is touching the point, and nobody will touch the point. That's Absolute Zero. Find the 3rd checkpoint, they find the destination, and have set up a solid attack round here on Circuit Royale. A lot of things that enabled that to happen was, of course, the early forcing of the support tools. Their Mirai Saints were always backed up in some kind of corner, always found themselves at a certain disadvantage. So now for their attack round, they need to do better, or at least put up the same amount of fight. And that may be what they're trying to do now, as we have a weird situation as we're going to the Wild West in Monaco here. We have an Ashe and a Cassidy. Ghost, of course, going to the Sigma, which we all know and love on Circuit Royale. And Usagi's on the Ana. Things are about to get really interesting though, as I see them right now, because especially from the support line, things have changed dramatically. Sigma, of course, is going to be very integral to enable the Cassidy and the Ashe in order to get those picks without being in too much danger. So let's see what they manage to do with it.
Alright, let's move out.
As the Cowboy is playing Cowboy. We can instantly see the different strategy, how different the game is being played now. Trench warfare has commenced for both teams, and Ghost makes a mad dash for bridge. Tries to stun somebody, manages to get some chip damage, but Fallen has fell. Cowboy follows suit, and Ghost gets overpowered. Smasso trying to escape, but cannot. A failed attempt there by Mirai Saints, as Ghost is now swapping over to the Orisa. As long as Absolute Zero are playing this Zarya, Sigma can never truly work. Despite Sigma being such a good play, specifically for this very first checkpoint, which I assume is what he was chosen for, Zarya is too much of a nuisance in the damage department. And Cowboy falling. So does Ghost. Zarya again. The brawl is insane. Fallen takes a pick before getting picked himself. And Mirai Saints are stuck in a weird limbo. As now Ghost has swapped over to the Zarya. The Zarya mirror has to be matched. Now we continue to be shaping up. Brawl condenses once more. Dynamite there by Fallen. Overclock by Silent Kill, trying to end this fight as well. Graviton Surge, but Silent Kills is very low. As Jolt is securing the kills. There is a nano onto Ghost, however, and he is maximum charge. This damage is about to be insane if he can actually hit it. As right now, no eliminations have been. Well, as I say, that Silent Kills has gone down. And now he's chasing Bamboozled, who has no coaching to escape. And Mirai Saints finally looking to move this payload, as Cowboy has now swapped over to the Hanzo. A very, very sophisticated pick for this map. As now we are approaching the first checkpoint. Ghost has this Graviton Surge. I know exactly what he's thinking. The Katsune comes out, but they're stopped dead in their tracks. Mirai Saints looking for that momentum shift, as Absolute Zero is forced to go back to spawn. This push is going to Mirai as they get the first checkpoint. Support also looking very, very close for Mirai Saints, as well as a Bob and Dragons. 4 ults, while Absolute Zero are sitting at 2 at best. As now Cowboy has these Dragons. Fallen has taken this off angle with the Dynamite, doesn't quite hit it, but he is on that flank. Bob gets used by Bamboozled. Fallen responds with his own Bob, and it's now a war of Bobs. A very weird clash going on, as Bamboozled falls to one of the Bobs, and Fallen's Bob as well as Bamboozled's Bob falls. So a very short-lived Bob duel. And the game returns to its normal chaotic nature. Dragons do get used here by Cowboy, trying to split apart Absolute Zero, and that's exactly what they do. Jolt is focused down. As our Mirai Saints have the leverage. Cowboy goes down, however. Big charm there by Kill Me Up, trying to enable the team to survive, but it may not be enough as Silent Kill dies with the overclock being used. And it's just clean up there for Mirai Saints. Second checkpoint now. 3 minutes and 37 seconds. As Mirai still has 3 ults. Only both DPS ults were used. And a very weird trade there by Silent Kills and Cowboy. Double Hanzo whammy. Now the Graviton Surge there by Ghost, falling, cleaning up big headshots. Now Glare forced to use the Coalescence to push Mirai Saints back. Another Graviton Surge here, this time by Jolt, responded with a with a sound barrier. And now Ghost is nano boosted. He's going in. He's got the charge. Katsune being used by Absolute Zero, trying to regain some ground. But Cowboy again responding. Ghost ends up falling. And the ball still continues. Bob was used there by Fallen, not really finding too much. And this fight is still going as Cowboy, in the midst of all the chaos, is finding some arrows. As Absolute Zero supports are the only ones holding down the point. Silent Kills responds by killing Basil, so maybe, just maybe, Absolute Zero have found themselves some kind of ground. Ghost is now back. The Zarya duel, the brawl has commenced. Dragons from behind though, from Cowboy. And Mirai Saints are somehow winning this fight. Ghost very powered up, trying to look for some picks. Cowboy finds Fill Me Up, Glare, both supports gone. And all of a sudden it's looking very, very winnable here for Mirai Saints. As Absolute Zero trickle in and out, but Jolt is still alive. He actually takes one person. He does use the Graviton Surge. The charm is there to instantly wake him up from that sleep. As now Nano Boost goes out onto Ghost, trying to ensure that Absolute Zero did not get back on point. But We know Bamboozled refuses to die, but this time he will end up falling. As supports are now back on the payload. Dragon's being used by Silent Kills, trying to split Mirai Saints, avoiding and buying time. And that's exactly what it does. 2 people are now gone to make that 3 as Silent Kills gets another kill. And that was it. Absolute Zero, with the use of the dragons, is able to split Mirai Saints in half and thus hold. 48 seconds now for Mirai Saints. They were heading into a 1-minute time bank, but now it is going to be less than that if they manage to finish the map. They do have a bob and they have a sound barrier, but Absolute Zero has the blade. Cowboy looking to scope out the area with that sonic arrow. The brawl is soon to commence yet again. An offensive sound barrier coming in for Mirai Saints, as 2 have already fallen for both teams. Bamboozle gets slept. It's going to get flicked there. And Mirai Saints looking very nice here. They're looking to eliminate Jolt. Dragon's being used by Cowboy towards spawn to stop any and all tricklers from coming in. As now overtime is going to commence. Dragon Blade though by Bamboozle, the Hail Mary, looking to get a kill, does get one. Is still alive as the Bob comes out, gets eliminated. Now Jolt is back, as it's now effectively a 6v5 with the Bob in hand, as Jolt will fall. This Zero still coming in. The Katsune does get used as a last measure, but with the grab out now, falling with 3. Absolute Zero are going to have to succumb to Mirai Saints here. As Mirai Saints finding the destination in overtime. A very, very scrappy series of fights, but it all comes down to those picks, as Mirai Saints were able to focus their targets and are able to secure the time bank round. However, they only have a minute since they finished in overtime, so things are going to be very, very complicated for them. However, as we've seen countless times, there is a lot you can do with 1 minute. It's going to be interesting to see what Mirai ends up doing with their minute. Looking at the comps, it seems like Mirai Saints may be looking to do the exact same thing. This time now with the Hanzo on both teams.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. 60 seconds remaining.
And here we go, 60 seconds for Mirai Saints. Lots of back and forth, the trench warfare with the Hanzo and the Ash. As you can see, the team, Mirai Saints, is just hugging the payload, making sure to not give or keep their head for too long, as Cowboy almost learns that the hard way. Valen tries to get a very interesting dynamite, but he ends up missing. Cowboy ends up falling here. Now we are down to 30 seconds. Mirai Saints have the spawn advantage here, if we can afford to lose anybody. As Ghost, very ambitious. He's high charge, he should be. But he can't solidify any eliminations, as he is maximum charge, but he ends up falling. As Mirai Saints is now starting to crumble. 10 seconds now. As Basil looking for the touch. Overtime now out. As now Mirai Saints is now trickling in towards the point. As Ghost is now the last person on point on this ball. Very high sustainable character, but look at that, instantly shredded by the Zarya charge. And that's as far as they're going to get. 59.64 meters, about halfway through the very first checkpoint, is all that Mirai Saints could do. And that's all the Absolute Zero will need to do in about 3 minutes. As you see the comps swapping up here, and it looks like they're going to be trying the Widowmaker as well as the Pharmacy. One of the things that has not been seen really that much on Circuit Royale is the Pharmacy. And I think I know exactly what is about to happen. There is always that area near the bridge where Farah can just go above and over the building instead of going around it and simply displace the enemy team. So very intrigued to see if that's exactly what they're going to be doing or not, specifically because of this Widow. As we can see Mirai Saints for the double Soldier 76 and Sojourn. It's going to take a lot to try to dismantle the Pharmacy.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
3 minutes and 15 seconds
Stop the payload.
is what Absolute Zero have in order to get this far. And here we see Silent Kills going over the building, just like I said. Trying to get a kill onto Cowboy, does not connect with the rocket, however, as he is in the middle of no man's land and displaces some people. Not off the bridge though, but fall in it. Does fall. As Ghost falls as well. Mirai Saints are crumbling. And Absolute Zero are more than happy to push the payload while this is happening. A slight stagger and snowball effect on Mirai, as now the payload is getting dangerously close to the destination. As Mirai Saints is now fallen, and is yet again Ghost, the last person on the payload contesting, as Bamboozled and Silent Kills deal with the rest of Mirai Saints. And Ghost is all alone. No amount of shields will help you. And that is going to be Absolute Zero. Finally, one score up in the series. Finding hints of life in this series. It is not over just yet. And they will, of course, have the chance to maybe start up the reverse sweep. Of course, in our next map, which is going to be Push. But that will not be right now, as we are going into a very short break. Map 4. Welcome back to the match of the week, Mirai Saints versus Absolute Zero. And for the longest time in the series, it seemed like things were going to end very, very fast, but Absolute Zero finding signs of life as we now head into our fourth map. Is the reverse sweep possible? That is the question if you are Absolute Zero, as we are going to be heading into push for this next map type, and it looks like we're going to go to New Queen Street. Push, of course, being the new game mode in Overwatch 2 for those who are not acquainted. And push is quite interesting, especially the maps that we have. Definitely a lot of overlapping metas that can work here on, especially on New Queen Street. You can choose which meta you want, but at the end of the day, I feel like both these teams are going to end up running similar things. Now, one of the things that is really intriguing about both of these teams throughout the entire series is that they've tried to mirror each other, you know, to diff the enemy team, as they say, to try to get a leg up in terms of the mental fortitude. And maybe that's just what Absolute Zero needs. As we look at team comps, it seems like both teams are running Kiriko's, so they're definitely looking for the Katsune ultimate, of course, very powerful with the added speed boost. However, aside from that, kind of got disproven, as both teams are running very different styles of a sort of brawl/dive hybrid. So maybe not entirely disproven. And Fallen is actually playing the Sombra. So maybe looking for the disruption here, analyzing Absolute Zero from behind. This Cowboy not really aware that the Risa Spear was thrown right at him. As now the fight is starting up in the subway train. Cowboy here trying to eliminate Sonic kills. He is one shot away. He does get stuck, but he seems like he will live for now. So Mirai Saints now with a leg up. Joel got hacked there and is going to get taken down. As Mirai Saints look to take this first fight and gain control of the robot, as Cowboy just casually slicing Absolute Zero apart, and now the robot moves. Of course, the dive won't be very, very easy, especially considering the amount of open paths that we see on the Queen Street. As now we see Joel's hopping over to the Diva, and silent kills also on the Sombra, so the mirror is there. Ghost getting low on the mech, trying to get D-Mag, and he will get D-Mag. So now they essentially have a Baby Diva as a tank. Not ideal. The dive goes in. Joel forcing Mirai Saints back with those micro missiles, and that's all it takes. Mirai Saints now on the retreat. Bamboozle slicing through. Kiriko did teleport. The charm was used, but they both still end up going down. And now Absolute Zero, going past the halfway mark, are now building up their progress. Mirai Saints are actually looking to have 5 ults for this next fight as Absolute Zero around the corner. Absolute Zero not quite there, but also approaching. So this will be a very scrappy fight to say the least, as Sonic Kills is forced to translocate away almost immediately. EMP just get used, 3 members hit, and there comes a self-destruct. Gets nothing though, as Bamboozle does go down with the blade. Fight is still going on, however. Joel uses his self-destruct, also finds nothing. The Master is down, some Mirai Saints are down their support. However, Ghost still engages. Coalescence was used by Glare though, as Ghost is getting hunted down. And Absolute Zero still continuing their push. Lots of ults were used in that fight. Many were used just to push people off of the objective.
Your team has lost the lead.
And now Absolute Zero with the lead, 53 meters and counting, as Ghost is now on the Zarya.
Protecting you.
The fight is now up on this Windows. And EMP hits 2 members of Mirai Saints. Definitely enough to send them back. As Bamboozle goes down yet again. Jolt, mech is very low. So Katsune is being used by Mirai Saints to try to regain possession of their robot, and that is exactly what they will do. A slight contested by Silent Kill, which is to delay progress. But ultimately, Mirai Saints will move. Katsune now being used by Fumio. Dragon Blade now by Cowboy, trying to find somebody. Not able to find anybody just yet. Finds Glare, but that's all he'll find, as the rest of his team is falling around him. The Bamboozled is up on the chase. Who's going to win this 1v1? And it's Bamboozled. One simple dash is all it takes. It's Absolute Zero, once again, flip control. Silent Kills, of course, yet again being a nuisance on the Sombra. Fallen has actually swapped over to the Reaper, and Cowboy to the Cassidy. As Fallen is now in the back line, he is going to get forced out. He actually gets taken down. So Absolute Zero now have the man and numbers advantage as Cowboy gets beamed down. Graviton Surge was used, Bamboozled though on the Dragon Blade, trying to pick up the finishing kills, and that's exactly what he's going to do. 2 ults being used there in that fight, as now Absolute Zero are at 100 meters, approaching the final stretch of their path. As Mirai Saints now with 3 ults. What can they do with him? Fallen, maybe looking for the Death Blossom, but he did get hacked. He's forced to retreat. He's foaming up now, gets eliminated. Mirai Saints maybe looking to respawn. As Fallen uses the Death Blossom, gets negated, but Jolt will still end up falling. The amount of damage used was insane. That's now Mirai finding the picks and stopping Absolute Zero from fully completing their path. As now Mirai Saints are looking to have 4 ults, only using 1, which was the Death Blossom, and Usagi actually gets caught by Silent Kills in the back line. So now Absolute Zero have the leverage as Glare pushes in with the Coalescence. Ghost does use the Graviton Surge, but he does end up falling. A Sound Barrier was used as well. But in the end, it doesn't really matter, as Absolute Zero continue their push. All of those resources used by Mirai Saints, and no value was found, as now Ghost has swamped over to the Reinhardt, looking maybe to stop the push, but Silent Kill actually got caught there by Cowboy. And that's all Ghost needs to know. He's going in. We have a Death Blossom by Cowboy, finds Glare in the back line, but Jolt still manages to find some kills, but he will eventually be overpowered. Mirai Saints push the bot. Now Mirai Saints only has 48 meters on their barricade. However, there was a Graviton Surge with an EMP combo as Absolute Zero comes from behind. And it completely swept the rug off of Mirai Saints. This Ghost does manage to find 2 kills. And here comes Fallen, so maybe it's not entirely over for Mirai Saints as Jolt is forced to retreat, but he still finds a kill. Jolt keeps responding. And somehow, Jolt is still the only one left alive and is able to win that. Mirai Saints coming up short yet again.
Stand behind me, friends.
As now we head into the corner where the brawl begins. Ghost has Earth Shatter. He is going in. He's going in, all in. Shadow comes out, gets absolutely nothing. Kasumi gets used as well as a Matrix and a Dragon Blade by Bamboozle. As Bamboozle looking to get the pick on the Usagi. He gets it. Evades the dash. The pin. Absolutely insane. As Absolute Zero continue their push. Mirai Saints have just been backed and backed every single attempt made, and we go with again with the elimination of the Cowboy, but Bamboozle gets a little too ahead of himself there and ends up falling.
Where was
So Mirai Saints right now have an advantage of spawn. They're looking in with a couple of ults. They have the Death Blossom as Fallen notices Silent Kills, but Cowboy still goes down. Silent Kills has just been a complete another nuisance in the background. So the Death Blossom is in by Fallen. Eliminates Bamboozle, looking for more. But an EMP connects onto 4 different members of Mirai Saints, and Glare is ready with the Coalescence. Graviton Surge is also invested here just for the cleanups, and we are approaching 16 seconds. It is now do or die for Mirai Saints. They have yet again failed any kind of aggression and distance on their bot, and it seems like nobody's going to be able to touch as there's now 5 seconds on the clock. And that is going to be that map. And a very interesting turn of events. Absolute Zero just completely negating everything that Mirai had, just stopping them in their tracks every time it felt like Mirai was starting to get a leg up. It was just Absolute Zero kept responding, whether it was Jolt staying alive on the bot, whether it was Bamboozled getting picks, or Silent Kills being an absolute nuisance on the Sombra. It was all going well for Absolute Zero, and now the series is now 2-2. Is it comebackable, as they would say in the Overwatch League? To find out, stick around. Coming out front. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the climax of this absolute clash of titans between Mirai Saints and Absolute Zero, as Absolute Zero are looking for the very first reverse sweep of the entire tournament. It would only be fitting that they get it here in the very first match of the tournament. So now map 5 situations are always my favorite. Despite how much work I have to put into these VODs, I still like myself a good series of Overwatch, and that is exactly what we have here. As now we are going to the final map of this series on Control. It's looking like it's going to be Lijiang Tower. Now Lijiang Tower is one of those control maps where every single section or area of the map has its own unique meta. Despite that, we've seen throughout this entire series that both of these teams have really relied on the Brawl, the Zarya, especially for both teams, as both Zarya players on both teams have been showing out, well, all the players who have been on the tank role, should I say, because they've always been swapping. And now, for the win. What can we see from both teams here as they are looking to go up in a win in the standings? As we see here, we are with Mirai Saints. No surprise in the Zarya. Now there is a Symmetra as we are on Garden, so expect the teleporter to point as we roll out with Mirai Saints. Teleporters being used as both teams go in. And a double boop off the map for Basil. As Mirai Saints, that's exactly what they were looking for. As two of their members take a swim. And they're going to be taking very, very early possession of this point. And they're going to start out their progress. Now we see the swaps over from Absolute Zero. As Jolt once again finds himself playing the Zarya. He's played it really well this series, despite not originally picking the character. And now we see Absolute Zero going in. Fallen trying to teleport some cheeky turrets. As an Immortality Field was used there by Usagi. Yet again very early. Now Joel, very high charge, 100% to be exact. He's got his gun entirely charged. Now the results are being shown as Fallen falls, and Boozled is getting in the backline, finding the picks, and now Zero flipped the point. But not before Mirai Saints got 45% based off of that first fight alone. So Absolute Zero have some catching up to do. As Mirai Saints are looking to push in with 3 of their ultimates, that being both support ults and a Graviton Surge, as now they're teleporting straight in. Sound Barrier does come out, the aggressive Sound Barrier. As Ghost trying to look for that cheeky legs man, but will not end up finding him. Graviton Surge is used also Coalescence, Matrix get used in Retaliation, as well as the Graviton Surge, but maybe too little too late. As Mirai Saints are cleared off from point. A very interesting decision there by Ghost to throw out the Graviton Surge, despite 3 of his teammates already being out of the fight. And Absolute Zero have officially passed in terms of percentage. Now 50% in counting. And they have got 3 ults. One of them being used right now. The Tactical Visor. Trying to split off members of Mirai Saints as the team pushes them back. A very smart move, but now Mirai Saints is back, and they're heading into this tiny little corridor. Katsune being used, Coalescent, or a Photon Barrier. The Cowboy has the Death Blossom, and it's all pure chaos in this tiny room. Jolt is staying alive, Silent Kill with a double Helix Rock elimination. As Basil is going to reset by taking a swim. Yet again, we see Absolute Zero managing to hold on. And now it is one fight territory on Gardens. 90% and counting. Mirai Saints need to touch, but it seems like they may not get there as Fallen falls before he's even able to reach the point. Basil looking to make the jump over, but he missed it. Did not have enough speed there. Now we're on an overtime. Ghost falls, Usagi falls next. Glare with a double, make that a triple to end off Gardens. Absolute Zero, a convincing first round. The momentum has been completely shifted in their favor, and now they are just one round away from completing their reverse sweep. As Mirai Saints looked pretty shaky there. Perhaps the momentum shift that I was mentioning is the reason, or perhaps it could be that the sustain is not there. It could be the over-reliance on the Symmetra pick to engage, maybe perhaps. But what I do know is that they're definitely going to try this again, especially now that I know that we are on night market, or not so much of a night market now that Lijiang is at sunset, but you know, that's another discussion. As now we are here, rolling out with Absolute Zero. The pharmacy is back out. You've seen the pharmacy before. Mirai Saints already on the point due to the Symmetra teleporter. So Absolute Zero are heading into some dangerous territory. Expecting turrets and a bunch of damage as Bamboozle almost gets taken out by said damage. Silent kills with the pharmacy. Cowboy does end up falling. And the brawl begins on point. Mirai Saints do end up taking possession of point, but Absolute Zero has a response. Ghost goes down. Turret's eliminated. And they flipped it back just like that. Only 10% there from Mirai Saints. Absolute Zero looking to easily overpass that.
Increasing altitude.
Solid kill right there. Massive damage with the damage boosted rockets. Bamboozle getting dangerously low. Almost fell there. Has to retreat slightly. And now we are also in a tight corridor as Mirai Saints are in this little area. Joel is going in. He's going very aggressively. Throws out the Graviton Surge. Oh, and it's a massive rocket barrage by Silent Kills. As Mirai Saints are completely obliterated inside of that restaurant. And once again, back to the drawing board. Mirai Saints are just not looking too good right now. They have just not been able to leave this little room, the restaurant. Silent Killer is being very aggressive there, trying to get some kills. Bamboozled very low, gets eliminated. This may be what Mirai Saints is looking for. Photon Barrier comes out, but Fallen falls yet again. Usagi with the Coalescence trying to move onto point. That's exactly what they're doing. They do manage to flip it back. But Absolute Zero are nowhere from gone as they are coming back to point. Blair almost gets eliminated. He does get eliminated. And now Joel is back on point. Silent Kills as well. And where have I seen this kind of play before? It's the Night Market Bamboozle. Silent Kills and Jolt alone. Swap the point again. 71% for Absolute Zero. Looking for the finish to this series. As they are coming up on 2 ults, from Mirai Saints has 4. You can see from the tactical visor being used. Graviton Surge as well. They're all in that Graviton Surge. This is exactly what Mirai Saints needed. They've got 2. All they need to do is finish them off. Bamboozle falls next. Blair has to fade out just to live. He's actually able to live. Or maybe not, as they are eliminated. Overtime does tick, but Mirai is on the point. This Ghost, very low here. Is forced to use resources to keep him up. Absolute Zero yet again. They are pushing in. They've got 3 possible 4 ults. And there's one of them, the Graviton Surge. Cyber being used by Basil to counteract as Joel gets eliminated, but Bamboozled has the kills, as well as Silent Kills in the backline with the Rocket Barrage. And Mirai Saints is in disarray, as it's Basil is the only person right now who can touch. Doesn't even manage to do that, as Absolute Zero complete the reverse sweep, the very first sweep of the tournament. What a series. Absolute Zero comes out on top, and they win the very first match of the Overwatch Scrim game series. What an absolute map to finish off this series. Absolute Zero with the complete momentum shift coming off of map 4 on New Queen Street, and they're going to be taking the victory. A very hard fought series. Both teams are on the top for a reason. Even when Mirai Saints looked like they were getting backed up into a corner, they still kept coming back. And of course, our player of the match is going to be Jolt on the Zarya, just putting up ridiculous numbers, insane survivability, apart from being able to get picks when his team most needed him, specifically on New Queen Street and Circuit Royale, where Jolt was completely getting eliminations on the Zarya, despite not originally picking Zarya at first, but he did get the job done. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the very first match of this tournament. I appreciate all of you for being here and watching this match. Hope you guys join us in our journey here at the Overwatch Scrim Game series. And until next time, this is White Shadow, signing out.